In this video, I'm gonna be sharing all of the writing software that you like to use to write your books. I made a video a couple of weeks ago sharing my favorite writing software that I personally use to write my books. And in that video, I asked what software you like, and I got a lot of responses. A lot of these I had never heard of before. I spent the morning going and diving into all of these different programs to see how they work, and they are super cool. And so this is going to be a list of software that other members of our community are using to give you a broader list of recommendations. There is no one way to write a book, and everybody's brains work differently, so different writing software will work better for different brains. Choosing the right writing software for you really comes down to what layout you like the best, and what your workflow is like, and also what your budget looks like and what you're comfortable paying for a writing software. And there are just a ton of options out there. So my aim with this video is just to give you more options so you can go and look into these and see if any of them are a better fit than the ones that work for me. If you want to learn what I personally use, I will link the video that I made on that topic in the description of this video, but otherwise, let's jump right into it. Also bear in mind, I do not use any of the software on this list, except for one tool that I will be mentioning toward the end of this video. All I know is what I learned from spending 4 hours this morning, diving into them, creating free accounts, and trying to get a sense for how they work so that I could film this video. The first writing program that was mentioned is Novelist. Novelist is a free app that allows you to write your novel on your phone, or you can also run it on the web. Everything syncs whether you're writing on your phone or in your computer. You can keep everything organized by putting your events of your story, your characters, your locations, anything you want to keep track of when you're writing, and you can also write in the app. So you can add scenes and you click on the scene and then you can actually add the text. You can edit all of the text in a normal word processing way. Within here, you can see all of your version history and keep track of all the stuff that you're actually writing. You can also set goals, and if you have like a certain number of words that you want to write in a certain amount of days, you can track everything here. And what's super cool is that you can preview your book, like if you had more information and more words in it, you'd be able to read it like it were an actual novel and preview what it would be like if it were exported. Your projects in Novelist are saved in the app, but you can integrate it with a cloud backup, which I always highly recommend doing whenever you're writing anywhere, because I've had so many instances where I've lost my work because of having a computer break or something like that. The second program that was mentioned a lot was Ulysses. Ulysses is a writing app that was designed to integrate really well with all Mac devices. One of its main selling points is that it's distraction-free and really simple, which in today's day and age, a distraction-free writing space is very important. You can sync your projects through all of your connected devices, so you can work on the same project on your computer and on your phone or on your iPad. Ulysses has a ton of features. You can track your daily word counts. You can organize everything in folders similar to how you do in Scrivener. There are built-in spelling and grammar checkers, which is awesome, and you can make sure that you can check your spelling, style, grammar, punctuation, and all of that stuff all built into Ulysses. And you can also export very easily into manuscript format, just like you can in Scrivener. I love how it can sync to every single one of your connected devices. It's super convenient that you're not only able to write on your computer, but also able to pick up in the exact same document and write on your phone. From what I could tell, it was a simpler version of Scrivener that can do less than Scrivener can and is slightly less powerful, but let's be honest, we don't really need everything that Scrivener can do most of the time. I don't use all of the features that Scrivener has, and so this seems to be a much more user-friendly, easy to get into program, and would be really good for someone who has Mac devices and wants to be able to write on their phone and write on their computer. Ulysses is $39.99 for an annual subscription, or $5.99 per month. Plus it has a student discount where students can get Ulysses for $10.99 for the first 6 months, which is always appreciated. The next program that was mentioned a lot was Ellipsus. Ellipsus is a super cool processor that allows you to customize your writing space to be exactly what you want it to look like. Like you can have dark mode, there are all sorts of different colors and options that you can choose from to make it look exactly like you want it to. You can keep track of all of your drafts in one place. You have access to all of the different word processor, like normal features, like you can change your text color, you can highlight everything, you have a nice undo redo button. You can even insert images and links. You can change all of the formatting and your text size. You can go and consult your outline if you have an outline, and if you've put together an outline, you can have very easy access to it. You can have a find and replace. You have a built-in spell checker, and you can choose whether or not you want to toggle that on. You can access your entire version history. People can leave you comments, and you can leave yourself comments. If you're working with a collaborator, Ellipsus makes it really easy because not only can you chat in real time with somebody if you're both working on the same document at the same time, but you can also see who wrote what at what time, which I think is a super cool thing. You can compare changes. So I, just for the purposes of this video, like downloaded the free trial and then I deleted all this text from this document. And now it can show me like what I did. So all I did was really just delete it. But if I go in and I add some more text, like if I do that and I compare the changes, it shows, you know, that I deleted all of this stuff and that I added all of that. It's kind of funny because it thinks that I deleted everything except for these words that were also in the original document, but you get my idea. You can put Ellipsus into focus mode, which gets rid of all of the distractions and just gives you your writing. You can set a timed sprint, so if you like to write in sprints or like 5-minute sprints or whatever, you can start a timer and you can keep track of it, then go into focus mode and just write. Ellipsus also is very against generative AI and is a protected space that does not allow any AIs to train on or scrape your data or work. Ellipsus also fully syncs between devices, so it can sync between your computer, your tablet, or your phone, and you can work on the same projects no matter where you are. The next one that was mentioned a lot was Reedsy. Reedsy has a free online writing platform that you can write your book in, and that's pretty cool. Reedsy is a huge company in the books and self-publishing and general publishing space. They offer classes, they connect you with editors, they also have this free writing platform. It is web-based and automatically saved to the cloud. It did bug out for me a lot when I was just trying to open it so I could film this video, which is not super nice. And I don't love cloud-based writing platforms. Like I like to have multiple backups of all of my things. Like I have the Scrivener on my computer and then that backs up to OneDrive, and I also back up to Dropbox just so I like cover all of my bases. But what's cool about this is that it syncs between versions, and so you can work on it from multiple devices. But you can make folders for all of your chapters, you can keep track of all of your notes, you can set goals and word count goals if you're working with a collaborator. You can also very easily track all of the changes that they make to the manuscript, which is really cool, and you have like track changes and suggestions all already in there. You can organize all of your notes just like you can in Scrivener, like pinning things to a board. And you can put all your story Bible stuff in Reedsy and store all of your information in there. It seems to be a really good tool. It is pretty simple and very intuitive, and it's free, except that if you want a little bit more add-ons, like if you want like dark mode and unlimited history and more stats and goals and things like that, it's $5 a month. And if you want even more, if you want more boards and notes and all that stuff, then it's $7.99 a month. So very affordable. If you were to use something like this, I would highly recommend exporting your book at the end of every session, just so that you have that saved to your computer locally, just in case for some reason the cloud bugs and you lose all your work for the day. That way you can go back to the version that you had been working on and just copy paste what you had. The next one that was mentioned a ton was Obsidian. Obsidian is a tool that is not made for creative writing and writing a book like a lot of these other tools are. It is a note-taking tool. Please feel free in the comments to correct me if I get any of this stuff wrong, because I did my best to do research, but I haven't used these myself. Obsidian works offline. It stores all of your notes privately. And you can do a lot of things. You can link between different notes that you have within Obsidian. You can create like mind maps and graphs that are like visual aids that you can use when plotting your book if you like to think about like characters that are connected or plot points that are connected. You can use it as a canvas by taking images and text and pictures, almost like a virtual whiteboard, and you stick everything up there and you can see it all together. And you can sync your notes between all of your devices, and it is all end-to-end encrypted, and so it's all very securely synced. You also get version history, which I always love. It's a very powerful tool. It is also free without limits, which is pretty incredible. There are many people who use it for creative writing, and so in the Obsidian Hub, there are different articles that were linked, written by different authors who are using Obsidian to write their books. And I will link a couple of these articles in the comments because they get pretty detailed about exactly how they use it. But the impression that I get is that you can really customize this to whatever you want. It might take a little bit more upfront thought for you as you think about what folders you want and how you want to structure it, because you have to kind of create every folder and the structure yourself. But once you find a structure that works for you, you can literally just like tailor it to be exactly what you want. I believe Obsidian is primarily a web or phone app that stores everything locally, but you can also sync things to the cloud through Obsidian. They offer an option to be able to sync everything for a monthly or an annual fee. And there are also ways that you can hook up third-party drives like Google Drive or Dropbox to your Obsidian notes if you prefer using one of those. The next one that was mentioned is Bibisco. Bibisco is a comprehensive novel writing software that supports 15 languages. It works on Linux, Mac, Windows, and is basically just another simple word processor that only gives you what you need. You can write in there, you can organize your chapters, you can organize your characters, your locations, your world building, make folders, keep notes, all of the basic stuff that you need when you want to write a novel. It also seems to function similar to Scrivener. It has a great word processor and you can put everything in folders on the left of your screen. You can manage all of your chapter and scenes in that way. You also can manage all of your characters. You have an entire plotting section where you can put all of the different plot points that you have in your novel in there. You can create mind maps, which is something that a lot of authors really love to do. I don't personally love mind maps. I don't use them a lot, but I know a lot of authors really like that, really scratches their brain and really helps them. You can also integrate timelines. You can track your writing goals. You can track your settings. Another cool thing that you can do in Bibisco is that you can run different analysis reports, and these analysis reports will give you in-depth insights into your novel's length, your character dynamics, locations, objects, narrative strands, and points of view. You install Bibisco on your computer and you run it on your computer. It's a desktop application and everything is stored directly on your PC or Mac, but then you can also integrate it and store it on with a cloud backup as well, separately from Bibisco. The basic version is free and allows you to have as many projects as you want with the character folders, the locations, the chapters, the basic analysis, and automatic backups. But then your premium version is a one-time payment of $59, and this gives you access to all of these other features. The founder is from Italy. I think it's very cool that they support so many languages and writing in so many different languages, because I feel like I don't see that a lot with other writing programs, so I think that's awesome. Here are two programs that were mentioned that are focused more on plotting than writing. They're not actually like writing programs or word processors, but I wanted to mention them anyway. The first one is Plottr. Plottr is the ultimate plotting app and plotting tool. You can do so many things on Plottr. They have a ton of different features that allow you to really plot any story structure that you want to. You can put all of your stuff into a visual timeline. You can move everything around on a timeline. You can divide it up by character and see where each character is and create individual timelines for them that all overlap. You can keep everything together in a story Bible, which makes it really easy to keep track of what's going on. What I really, really love is that Plottr comes with over 30 plot and story templates. So it already has things like the hero's journey, romancing the beat, the 3-act structure, the snowflake method, the story circle, all of these baked in with descriptions of each plot point. So you can click on one of those templates and fill it out for your story, and in an hour have an outline for a story that fits into a story structure, and then you can move things around and customize it to your own story. So it's a really, really great place to start. It integrates with Scrivener, which is extremely convenient. You can also do full family trees of all of your characters, keep track of everything. It's a very handy tool for just keeping track of all of the details that go into your book, or especially if you're writing a series. Like, I know I get really overwhelmed when I'm like 5 books into a series and I have to remember details about certain characters because I didn't keep a story Bible when I wrote They Stay, and I regret that, and I'm not doing that for my next series. I'm being very, very organized. But there are a bunch of pricing tiers. You can get lifetime subscriptions where you just pay once, or you can have a monthly or an annual subscription fee. I believe for the basic plan, it's $150 for a lifetime membership. Then you can get Plottr Pro and then Plottr Community for more. I think Plottr Pro is like $599, and then Plottr Community is $649. But you'll have to go and take a look and see what is included and what isn't. Like in the community, you get access to a bunch of like groups and other people and other writers and things like that. I'm not 100% sure what differentiates Pro from regular. That is my job, and so I'm gonna go find out for you. These are all of the things that are included in just regular Plottr. The Pro features are the browser, cloud sync, real-time collaboration, and cloud backups. And then the Pro and community features are like the additional support that you get from other humans. So I guess if you just get regular Plottr, everything will be stored locally on your computer, whereas if you have Pro, you can put everything in the cloud. And finally, we have Aeon Timeline. Aeon Timeline is a really powerful timeline builder, and that is a tool that I personally use. You can do a lot on Aeon Timeline. I'm still kind of an Aeon Timeline beginner, but this is the timeline for the book that I'm working on right now. It is very useful for me to plot out, like I'll write a first draft, I'll get everything I want to get on the page, and I'll have everything that I want to have happen in the book happen, and then I go back and I analytically try to figure out how much time those things would need to take and how I can plot that out in a linear format that actually makes sense for the book. And so that's what I did here. I did this after I'd already written my first draft, and when I realized I had to move the timeline around a little bit. But you can view the timeline in a bunch of different ways. You can have it be compact, you can have it be fully expanded where you have to scroll down to like read it. I also color code the timeline. Like all the things that I haven't read are like things that I need to edit in the book or things I need to pay attention to because I changed the timeline to accommodate certain things. And then all of the things in green are like world building things and like when she learns about certain world building pieces. You can also create mind maps and all sorts of different things in Aeon Timeline. I don't use those because I don't find them helpful, but a lot of people really love them, and that is something that's also possible in Aeon Timeline, so I highly recommend it. It's really, really great. It was $65 for a lifetime license, and so it's not very expensive, and it has been absolutely fantastic. And finally, the last program on this list that many of you have used before and were recommending in the comments of my video is AutoCrit. AutoCrit is not a web processor like Scrivener, like where you'd really write your book in it. It is a very powerful editing tool. It is an editing tool that uses AI and was developed by human editors to help writers or give writers information to make their books better and polish their books themselves before sending it off to a human editor to be professionally edited. It gives you information so that you can use that information to edit your book so that you can send your human editor a better product. It is a web-based processor that gives you a ton of different reports. It will give you reports on how many adverbs that you use, how much you use passive voice, showing versus telling, and it will highlight all of those things so that you're aware of how many adverbs you use, and you can go in and you can change it and delete certain adverbs. And it allows you to see how many of these instances of these things that you have, so you can make the decision whether you want to go in and change it and delete it or you don't. It also has more overarching reports that will analyze your story and give you suggestions for developmental editing. It has things like virtual beta readers or virtual alpha readers that will give you suggestions on where your pacing is slow and which characters fall flat, which you can obviously take or leave, whatever resonates with you. I am a huge believer that you need human beta readers to read your book because you are a human who is writing for other humans. And while tools like this can help, a virtual beta reader is not the same thing as a human beta reader and is not going to be able to tell you where your book is resonating with people emotionally, which is what you as a writer need to do in order for a book to be successful. Your goal is to affect people emotionally, and the only people who can tell you whether they're being affected emotionally or not are people with emotions. That being said, it is a voice and can catch potentially really big things or structural issues in your manuscript that maybe you can edit before you send to human beta readers. These reports are really powerful for giving you information, and you as the writer still need to know how to self-edit your book, because you are not going to be able to make decisions about what you're going to do with all this information unless you know how to self-edit your book. But AutoCrit is a great tool for giving that information to you. AutoCrit is free forever, which gives you access to all the basic reports, and then you can upgrade to Pro, which gives you access to all of the different reports. And Pro is $30 a month or $15 a month if you subscribe annually. So those are all of the programs that were mentioned in the comments of my video. I am super excited by how many options are out there for writers. I personally write in Scrivener and love using Scrivener, and I use Microsoft Word when working with my editor, but really all of the writing that I do is in Scrivener. But that's because it works really well for my process, and I've been using it since I was in high school. There were a couple of you who also said that you use Scrivener, but I'm not talking about Scrivener because I talked about Scrivener in detail in my video that I made about the programs that I use. So if you want to go watch that, again, I've linked it in the description. I hope that that video was interesting or helpful to you. If you have a second, I'd be super grateful if you could like it and also subscribe to my channel. My name is Claire Fraze, and I'm an award-winning author who makes weekly videos sharing actionable writing tips that helped me make my own writing better. I'm the author of the 5-book paranormal thriller They Stay series, and also a new series I'm publishing early next year about ghost hunters who hunt the ghosts of dead serial killers, which I'm super excited about. Book 1 is called The Love Trials, and the dead serial killer ghosts that they have to track down was inspired by Jigsaw and forces couples to participate in games inspired by Saw designed to break their love. So it's very scary, very dark, has enemies to lovers, and gets pretty intense. So I love it. I've never loved anything that I've written so much, and I'm really excited to share it. Did I get anything wrong about these platforms? Please let me know in the comments. Please correct me if there's anything that you would like to add about any of them. Please do so in the comments. As I mentioned at the beginning, all of the stuff that I mentioned was really just the product of me doing some research on my own. I haven't used any of these personally except for Aeon Timeline, so all of this is pretty surface level information. I would love to know if there are any of these that you would be interested in seeing me do a deep dive tutorial on. I download the free trial, I would spend some time really digging into all of the features, and then I can make a more comprehensive tutorial. So if there are any of those on this list that you really want to learn more about, just let me know down in the comments and I can put that on my schedule. I hope you have a good week, everybody, and as always, happy writing.